I bill. It's not for every single phone call that I make.
So Bill Dowling was supposed to have been invoicing us, but wasn't for his calls to vendors and soliciting quotes. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Well, he was, and that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Well, let me ask you, Danielle, let me ask you a question. So I think we should get another quote on it just because of the dollar amount. So if you call someone and send them out here, that's say 15 minutes. Is that what we're talking about? Or do you charge like an attorney up to the quarter hour, half an hour?
Yeah, no, we charge every 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, I think it'd be worth it for 15 minutes to have another bid on this.
Well, Pine Street doesn't have to be present, right? They just make a phone call.
Exactly.
Okay. So phone call costs $75?
No, it'd be 15 minutes. Phone call, so it'd be $20.
Okay.
Is that true, Danielle?
What's that?
Is that true, Danielle?
It's what, true?
$20 for 15 minutes?
I'll have to do the math. I think it's,
Well, if you charge $75 an hour, I just did quick math.
yeah. Yeah. It's probably less. Let's see. It's $18.75.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so if we could just get an estimate for the landscaping ties, because that's the cheaper option.
Okay. Yeah, we have a vendor that can do that type of work. Warren Cowing. I think the board has worked with him before, so.
And I think
That's supposed to
one of our prior meetings, I think we said we didn't want to work with him because he was non-responsive. It was either the last meeting or the meeting before that. And I don't remember what the unit repair was.
There was a couple of instances of him coming on Saturdays or Sundays and in a holiday, I think one time that was on a Saturday or a Sunday. So I'm pretty sure I remember it like Nancy does too, that we were going to try somebody else if there was somebody else available.
Well, but he was the one assigned to your gutter leak, Dan, and then never showed up to fix it. So I think he was assigned to some other things and he just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I know he goes away for the winter time, but we can definitely try someone else. There's a lot of vendors that we work with, so I'll reach out, or Eamon, if you can reach out to Undersky Home Improvement. You do a lot of work for us on our Marshfield and Situate properties, and the boards now contact Melky on their own, which I don't want them doing, but yeah, it's really good.
Melky. Okay, I'll
All right.
contact him. That's all for the work orders. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so, but there are a couple of things that had been on the work orders that aren't there anymore. The Corbetts in Unit 18 had a leak, unless it turned out not to be a leak, that's gone. The Banks's, that window leak, that's not on there. I'm assuming that's being done or has been done.
That was done, I'm pretty sure.
I just
But it
wanted to
also
ask
was
the
here.
board if a work order is complete, do we want to be notified or something?
Well, maybe keep it on the work order and just say completed that next time and then it can go away.
Because
But
if
the
it's marked completed, it will be out of the queue. And
Oh,
we cannot build a work order without it marking it complete.
okay. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
just let us know, that would be great.
Okay.
What we
Wait.
can do is update your weekly reports to state what was closed and what's now open. Those reports will be pretty lengthy, but we can certainly do that.
So we also would have gotten a bill that we would all approve to pay the vendor that did like the leak at Banks's house. You know, I was even concerned with that one just minorly, if they were away and their caretaker wasn't around. Did anybody check to make sure that it was not leaking the first time that it rained after the vendor was done with the job there? Just room for thought that maybe there's a good way to close those out.
Yeah, we certainly can check vendors' work. I believe that expense would be billable. Sorry to make everything about charges, but I just want to be transparent with the board because I know sometimes bills come in and, you know, we're the last to get paid. So we can start checking the work orders. I did meet with Nydia in office a couple of weeks back, and I think she was mentioning something about us checking over landscapers' work in the future and how that could be like a $30 charge just for us to stop by, meet with the foreman, and just make sure everything's going well. I can see if that's something that she can offer for this community as well.
I don't think most work orders need a Heinz feed check, other than the Bankses aren't home, and they won't be home until May. So that would be the only thing that Dan brought up, whether it's leaking or not.
He does have a caretaker that's in the local area that supposedly was going to check. I don't know. I can
Okay.
ask him.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, then,
it rained shortly after they finished doing the work, I'm pretty sure. So if the caretaker was around at all, he would have seen that the area was still leaking.
Especially today. So let me reach out to him.
Could I make a suggestion that we jump to the driveway project due to time, and then we can circle back to the other stuff if we run out?
Sure.
If
Sure.
we don't. All right. George, can you update us?
Yeah, so you all saw the signed contract or signed estimate that was sent back to US Pavement. We are on their schedule for April, May. I don't have a more specific date. The gentleman that I work with is not the scheduler, the operations manager, but he assured me it'd be either April or May. So that work will be done at that time. When the work begins, we have to put a down payment down. That's $60,255.66. Just to keep that in mind. We may need to do something with our CD or something if we don't have sufficient cash on hand. So I'll just mention that. Nancy, you were concerned about access to and from. The pavement people assured me you can walk on that material immediately after it's been laid down. You can't drive on it in the case of the new asphalt, but
Okay.
walking on it is fine. But we'll make accommodations for anyone who needs to get in and out of their unit that's being disrupted. So
do you mean the, what do you call it when they churn up the driveway? So I can walk on that debris and I can
Yep.
walk on the pavement?
Yep.
I can.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
You just can't put your handprints in it.
yeah,
Oh, come on.
wait, no, we're all signing somewhere. Oh, I won't be here. Etch it in with a jackhammer.
I just received the first paving notification of an estimate. We have to talk more about that, but the plan would be to somewhat simulate what we have in front with red bricks, covering the areas where we remove the trees. There's options to do the areas down at the bottom of north and south drives. We can discuss that when we get some other options in hand. I've asked 2 other vendors to provide me with quotes. So, as I said before, the paving itself will be a week, barring weather concerns, and it won't disrupt anyone for more than 24 hours immediately in front of their own homes. So we're going to open up the gates in the back during that time. And you'll need to find alternate parking spaces while that work's going on.
Can we talk about that? What ideas do we have for alternate parking spaces?
Can you park on Lawson if you're at the back, and in the front, can we, I don't know how big that curb is, just park on the lawn in the, coming in from Branch Street.
So
Yeah.
we're parking on site. These are parking on site. I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Well, Lawson would be kind of the road layout. There's enough room where that hill to put cars, but not 26 cars.
So right now you're talking about Lawson Road, the street,
Yes.
right? But you also were talking about parking on site too. That's what
On
I
our
want.
wall. Yeah, because,
Yeah.
there's only, you probably, fit.
Yeah, there won't be,
Cars.
they're not shutting down the whole property all at once. They'll do it in segments. So you should be able to move your car around a little bit. If you want, I can go ask across the street, see if we can park at the baseball field, just as a courtesy, while that's going on. So,
Now, you probably can down on the road, not in that parking lot for the baseball field itself, but usually there isn't anybody parked in front of the school.
no, there's room up there already.
Yeah, there's a lot of parking.
Yeah, that's just a longer walk. So,
Yeah,
I suggest that we think about, what we would like to sort of advise, if you will, unit owners, because that is going to be a burning question that everybody will want to know. Well, where can I park my car or cars?
right. And so once we know the schedule, we'll have a clearer view on what we need.
And by the way, the lights look great. The
Oh, good.
driveway lights.
Good.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
So there are matching lanterns that we can put on every unit, but would probably cost $10,000. So we can talk about that at the end of the year.
Let's get through this one and then we'll.
Yeah. So are you done, George? So I was just going to
yeah,
mention.
I am done. Thank you.
And I have a question when you guys are done with your updates.
Okay. So for parking, the town planner will let us have 4 spots. We can't have them where there's a curve. So that takes out the parking at the bottom of South Drive, and it takes out the parking spot at the front drive near South Drive. We're going to add a spot where there's 2 spots of visitor parking already. So what we thought we would, and where pavers have thought we could put parking, is 2 spots kind of as you start to go, before you go down the South Drive, on the mailbox side, but not by the mailboxes, farther down. They can put just 2 spots there.
Past the mailboxes or before them?
Pass.
Past them almost as you're getting to South Drive. It's still on the front, but just before it turns.
Within our property line, where
Yeah.
the stakes are.
And then on the north side, it would kind of mirror that. It would be, I think it's to the right of the North Drive side. There are
Yes.
2 spots that can go there. And then if you have 2 spots, it has less places for people to worry about people backing out.
The
So
one on
those
the
2 spots.
The one on the South Drive would be 2 spots side by side. The one on the North Drive would be 1 car in front of the other, parallel to the street.
Are you sure? I think they can do straight in by that sign.
There probably is room to do that. There's just a lot of grading that'd have to take care of there too. So
No, it's
but we
flat
could-
there. It's flat where I'm
Yeah,
talking
not that
about.
flat. Okay, all right.
And they might have to do a little something, but it's not down in front of 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
before that.
Well, that's good. That's a good movement.
And then I just did some numbers so with the driveway and the trees, that amount is $183,357. I don't know the lighting, if we put the lighting in there and the border staking, that's $190,632. I don't know, those don't necessarily have to be in the driveway project, but I don't know that we have the money in the annual budget for it. What the lighting was 5710 and the border staking was 1565.
That actually was my question, Helen, that I was going to raise about the driveway project. And I was wondering if anyone, and it does seem to be you, is keeping track of all of the costs associated with this project. And you did present, I think, last month with some totals too. So if you're the person keeping track of the associated costs, I would like to request, could you present or could you send them to the board either weekly or bi-weekly? Maybe.
Well, they're not going to change that often. They're not changing. I mean, so we have left is whatever the brickwork is. And then the pavers that mentioned, we're going to have to like fill in the edges probably with dirt and reseed a lawn. So those are the only two other expenses that I can see we're going to have. And I'm not sure where we want to, what budget, if we want to take everything that we've done that's new out of the reserve under the guise of the driveway project, but like the lighting really didn't have anything to do with the driveway. It was just a good time to do it in case we needed electrical wires or something. And the border staking, we've talked about it for years that we needed to do it anyway. So I guess, figure out what to do with that when we get when the bills and because we can't get to that CD now until June. I think we're going to squeak by, something that keeps me up sometimes, but if we add money to the reserve fund, I think we'll, as we're doing, we'll be okay. There are a couple of places in the budget that we're over a little bit. So we have like 2,500 in the landscaping because the contract was less than what's there, but details. So, and then the only other thing I have is I contacted the town about flushing the hydrants in case those need to be repaired. In my 9 years at Dream Mall, they have never been opened. So I'm afraid they're rusted shut, which means they're going to have to do some digging around the roadway. They told me that they would, they start scheduling in April, they would get us on. And so as soon as we get a schedule date, I'll call again and say, this is the day getting a new driveway. If you could, flush our hydrants before then.
Exactly.
So Helen, I think we had a little extra cash left over from 24 that I would think that we would just do the hard cost for the driveway out of the reserves. That's would be my thought on that. But and then George, I had another question is
Sure.
Just to clarify the stumps that they're going to take out. They're going to take out the roots as well, as long as they're kind of on the driveway side, not go into the units.
The stumps that are along the drives, yes, they're going to remove the roots.
Okay.
But we've got Melania looking at that area we just cleared off to the south side, and those would be to ground level, as well as the three large stumps on the exit to the property.
So just put this into your thought process as well, George, is some of the units are, they have a lot of built up soil and mulch on it, and the soil is up to and over the shingle line at the bottom.
Yeah.
So I think a fair amount of that has to be pulled away, because otherwise that's going to all just drain down onto the brick. So the brick will be, 3 inches below where the mulch is or the soil is, and then it's going to all look like garbage. So we have to figure that out, level it out, or put a lip or something where the brick meets the soil at the garage, at the garage edge.
Well, the brickwork that we're planning would be on those areas exposed until the one side of it would be up against where the new paving was, kind of a
Right.
U-shaped
Right.
kind of a U shape. And the backside would be butting up against the front of the garage, not any further than that.
Right, but that,
But,
right,
but,
so right,
yeah, but just one more. The brick guy came out 2 days ago and we walked around and he pointed out specifically one of the driveways over in your area on North Drive that had that buildup of stuff. And he was planning that he'd have to remove that too to get it
Yeah.
all looked properly. So
okay, all right, just so you know.
it'll either be him or it'll be the landscape guys to finish that off. But
And are we sure that the U shape versus a rectangular shape is the way to go, just cost-wise and aesthetics?
they've, I mean, that's just basically what's there now. They'd remove the berms and use the same form. I don't think that it's going to make much of a difference one way or another. So we can do
Yeah.
either. That work
Curb
will
is
be done.
probably
instantly.
better for a car.
The other brickwork will be done after the paving. I'm sorry, Helen.
Oh, I'm just saying the curve rather than rectangular. The curve would probably be better for cars backing out than a rectangular, even though it's flush with the driveway. I don't know.
I think it would look better too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, thank you. Wow, 5:26.
Hey, I have a question about one of the work that was performed. Eamon, are you still here?
Yes.
So, I submitted a work request to repair the granite post on South Drive to reinstall the eye bolt there. Looks like someone has done some work to put the eye bolt back in place, but I'm not sure what they used as an adhesive. Because it doesn't hold the bolt inside. The whatever adhesive they used didn't cure, so it's still soft to the touch, like a paste. And so
Yep.
it's useless to hold the chain up. It can't even support the weight of the eye bolt. So whoever did that work needs to come back with the right kind of material, either epoxy or some other, I don't know.
The back entrance.
Yes, on the South Drive.
It was Ben.
Oh, I don't know what he used, but he didn't, it's not anything that's working. So he needs to come take a look at it again.
Sure. I'll take a note on that and we'll inform him.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, do you want to go back up to the pool opening
Yeah.
and training?
Oh,
Yeah, that'd be
like
great.
we're going to talk about
Robert-
that program? Under-
Yeah, we got 15 minutes. We can do both, I think.
Okay.
So Robert said that the pool company is opening and shocking the pool May 13th. On May 12th, he'll turn the water on and he'll go to the town at the Board of Health and do whatever he does. So I didn't know I thought if somebody, maybe even two people, could follow Robert around to turn the water back on, because it's steps and there are little, things to turn the water on in the basement, unit 1. If they could do that with him. As for training, you can't do anything until he's there. So it would be, I guess, just communicate
Yeah.
with him maybe on what he would like to train people. Or have you talked to him, Steve?
I have not. I think, one of the big things is moving the furniture and doing the power
Yeah.
washing. I mean, I'm happy to do the power wash, and I did it with Robert last year, but I think if we could get 3 or 4 people, it would take us, a half an hour to bring it all out and set it up. I mean, it's
Yeah, so
less
that would
work.
probably be the 14th, or what is
Oh, I might be away.
that's a Wednesday. So the 12th, the 13th is a Tuesday. Robert said he'd be here that Monday, the 12th. And maybe even the power washing on the 17th, because you can't get in the pool for a couple days after the shock anyway.
Yes, I'm in California that week, but I could. I mean, there's no reason we can't do the furniture, set up the furniture earlier, right?
Right, or power wash and then do
Yeah.
the furniture at some point.
So how about like the 10th? Would anyone want to help me move furniture?
Uh,
All right, great.
You could probably
Would.
call out to the all the unit owners and see who, who volunteers. I know Rich Goff has regularly.
So one of the things on here was a newsletter.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
put
can
that on
include
there. Helen, I'm sorry, I put that on there. I wasn't sure when we were going to send out the next one, and I thought it would be a good time to update people on the pool and the driveway and the lights
Okay.
and just, maybe that a good time to communicate that we'll be in touch with them on car parking and kind of get in front of some of the questions that they might have,
Okay.
with the exception of Heather. Heather needs a special letter.
Yeah, we'll just exclude her and then see what happens. So on, shoot, now I forgot. Oh, I was thinking of putting the dollar amounts for what we have for contracts on the driveway, so people know, or does that seem okay?
I wouldn't
Yeah.
do that.
You wouldn't do that?
I don't know why we would need to do that.
Okay, well, because
but
it's the money.
Copy of your spreadsheet to the board is something I'd like to see.
Yeah, that would to the board, but I don't know if we need to be sending out, because that's just going to invite,
Comment.
a lot of comments and why are we spending that much money and have you bid
Right.
out, we're going to get Heather times, 10.
Okay, all right.
How
I
did she
do
know
wanna-
how much we were paying for the pavement anyways?
She doesn't.
I
She
do want to
doesn't.
let this board know that we have a unit owner that's potentially selling. It's unit 18. And they did inquire about this work. They did inquire about the pricing, and I did let them know.
Oh,
Okay.
18, the Corbett's?
Yes.
Okay,
Where are they moving to?
I'm just in touch with their realtor right now.
because the Foss, we're looking at, Linden
So-
Yep.
Pond.
With the
Yeah.
time that we have left, could we talk about the driveway project, please?
We already
Yeah.
talked
I
about,
don't mean that, I'm sorry.
We already
It's
talked
unit
about that.
I'm looking at
Or-
the deck program update.
Oh,
It's
Sure.
unit
Yeah,
24.
so
Okay. All right, go ahead, whoever's speaking.
Yeah. I was just going to say I put that back on there because I told Heather and Polly that I would provide them an update at the last meeting, but it seems like this is still in the works in terms of, I guess, deciding the logistics of it all. I will be in touch with them once I get a date from Ben to let them know that we're looking at it, but I guess more information on the administrative part would be helpful to provide.
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but my understanding is that virtually nothing has been done to move this forward, that we put it out there, that it was open, and we've got 3 applications that have been submitted. We were going to have Ben come out and provide estimates, and that didn't happen. I'd like to also propose that we have Mark Falvey come out and give us estimates too. He's a local contractor. His pricing is good. Several people who live here have used him and been very happy. There are other contractors too. The other one I'm thinking of is a lot more expensive, I think. But so what is it, March? I mean, I think we need to really move forward on this and let the applicants know what's happening because vendors are scheduling their work.
do you want to contact Mark Falvey?
Yes, I could do that.
That would be great.
I need to, who's the point person on this? Is it Danielle? I mean,
Well, it would be you for now, and then
So Ben,
Daniel.
Ben, we just had decided that Ben was going to come out and at some point and come up with a scope of work and a bid, right? So do
Is
we
he
want to?
charging us to do that?
No,
Because other
that's,
people estimate for free.
no, that Daniel said he wasn't charging for that. That was
Okay.
part of their
Understand.
service.
So,
Perfect.
so the logical thing to do then would be probably to provide Ben and also Mark Falvey with copies of the application, just in case there are, I know I have two small notes on mine, so that they know what they're looking at. And
Yeah,
what
they're in the portal.
they're giving us estimates of. And
Yes.
like you had said, Danielle, I think you said, although Ben can't make private appointments with unit owners, like, for example, I work during the week, that he could certainly somehow contact via email just to clarify what is it that you're looking to get done. I think that would be great. And, you know, maybe I'll find out what Mark can do, if he can meet with people, or if that would be his way of communicating with them too. And then at least we'll have two. And maybe, you know, in the next few weeks even, we'll have two estimates, or estimates from two vendors. And then we still have to talk about, once we have that, you know, how to allocate the money that's been set aside, $10,000.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
You get 500, the rest goes to the other two. I'm sorry, Nancy. I'm just
You're
in
so
one of
funny.
those.
I know, it's just too easy to tease me. I know. Hold that. Hold that time.
Hey, can I go back to the pool? We didn't, so it, in the, we're trying to relieve Robert of having to do all that work. So we need help in the weekly cleaning. And does anyone have any thoughts on how we could accomplish that? Do we want a pool coordinator? Do we want? I don't think one person's going to want to do the whole season,
No.
but I
Robert
think
thought that maybe people would do a month at a time and he would still do a month. But I'm afraid people go away, that a month isn't, maybe
Right.
2 weeks.
I think 2 weeks is. I would do 2 weeks, for example. You know, I think 2 weeks is manageable.
All right.
Did you reject Heinz Feet? Does that work? And that was rejected outright, or?
Well,
They
we
don't
would have to pay
they-
them.
They don't
Sure.
clean it on a. Yeah, they don't.
They don't
They don't
come
do
every
the
day.
daily. That's a daily thing.
Daily thing, yeah.
You know, you go out, you just take the leaves out of it, you check the pH level, you know, that type of stuff. It's
So
it takes.
what's your idea, Steve, about, are you going to like put something out to everybody and ask people?
Well,
to
I can do
sign
that
up?
in the newsletter.
Yeah, well, I thought we'd have like a pool czar, someone that could
Yeah.
coordinate it, and then, right, Helen, you know, send it out to folks. You know, here are the 12 weeks that the pool is open, or however long it's open. Please sign up for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you know, and we have a special training on such and such a date. Bring your own drinks. Make sure they're in plastic.
I hope we get enough people to sign up.
Well, then maybe you have to do 3 weeks, and you know, but maybe
Well, you
that's a
do 2
start.
weeks in one block in July and 2 weeks in August. I mean, yeah.
We
So
could charge
maybe-
Yeah,
tariffs.
if you use the pool, you have to do at least a week.
Yeah, it's a
I don't know,
tariff.
but I think we.
And
I
if
mean,
you don't use the pool, you have to do 2 weeks.
I mean, I'll do 2 weeks. Helen, I'm assuming you would probably do 2 weeks. George, maybe 2 weeks.
And I would
Uh,
probably do more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's half
I'm
the
away
summer.
for a couple of weeks in August. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're almost 3/4 way there, right? So,
So I just put in that the training is tentatively May 17th, that Saturday. But I'll check with
Okay.
Robert and see. And I won't send out the newsletter until we have a date for the paving.
okay,
Because there's no point in sending it out without having that piece of information.
okay. I think that sounds good. All right, we got 6 minutes.
Status of Appfolio, what does that mean? And did I miss anything? Does anybody want to update me? Oh, well, wait a minute. How come
We didn't do the minutes.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Well, on the minutes, on the, the regular meeting minutes, I
February
sent you, I had sent you a sentence, because the 55300 wasn't the correct amount. And so I thought, in parentheses after that, you say the price was corrected to $5,710 the next day with unanimous approval for the new front drive lanterns.
Was that your sentence?
Yes. Yeah, and I sent it to you in an email, so you don't have to write it now.
Okay. The day following the meeting. Well, no, it wasn't. It was like a month later because I got the minutes out.
No, it was the next day because we had to have, in order to get the sale price, it had to be approved that Tuesday.
All right, I'll look for your sentence. Okay, so that's the only edit for the February 24th minutes.
Yeah, well, from me.
And then what's going on with March 6th?
Well, in the driveway
Yeah.
proposal, I just suggested that the US paving proposal included stump removal and 5 to 6 parking spaces. And I only say that because the others did not have that, and that was a big, that was good savings, just to have that in there.
And to put it in the minutes?
Yeah, it was something we talked about
But
when you talked about selecting the US pavement.
yeah. I mean, if you want to send me a sentence about that, I can, if the board agrees that should be put in there. But you know what you just said raises an interesting point. If that proposal includes 5 to 6 parking spaces, and now we know we can only have 4 max, does that mean they would lower their price, George?
Yes, but, keep in mind, as they come across various conditions, the grading and all that stuff, that the price they quoted is an estimate. And it says that right in the proposal. So I wouldn't bet too much on any of that. We may recoup something from the 5 to 6 spaces to 4. But we've got some significant grading that would have to be done on the south side to make those parking spaces useful. So we'll just have to wait and see. But
All right.
I would
And
not.
there's some things that need to be, some parking spaces widened a little bit. I would suggest the front drive should be widened a little bit in between the raised garden berms, because right now those of us who have to back out of our spots, the cars hang over it, and the exhaust is killing the grass along there, which is why it's always brown at the edge. A little more paving would fix that. And that could probably eat up those 5 to 6 spaces.
Yeah.
So Helen, why don't you just send me a sentence about the stumps and the parking spaces, and then I'll edit the 2 minutes if the board agrees, if we all agree to that. And then I guess we'll just vote on them next month.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Can we vote on it now?
We don't have the sentences done.
Well, I know, but I mean, we know what it's going to say. I trust you.
Yeah, I sent you the gist of what to add to the other one. I sent you both these mails.
Do you guys want to vote to approve them now?
Yeah, I will.
I'll make a motion to do that.
So the motion is going to be to approve the minutes with pending amendments or changes, right?
Editorial comments.
With those, 2 sentences.
I'm going to say with my
Sentence.
I'll say minor edits.
There you go. I
Okay.
support that motion.
Yeah, me.
Okay. And that's our only motion from this meeting, right? Did I miss anything else at the beginning?
No.
No,
Okay. What about AppFolio?
That's the software you use on Heinz Feed, isn't it?
yeah, it says status of AppFolio on the agenda. I was curious
Yeah,
about that too.
There were a few issues with the reporting reports that we were posting. Appfolio was posting it as cash, and we switched most of our HOAs over to accrual. So that's since been resolved. We had Amen send in a ticket to Appfolio support team. So your package should be fine moving forward. You know, less the details that we spoke of today, which I'll have updated for your March financials, but everything's resolved as of right now. Appfolio is always making changes, so we have to work with them as they go along.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Well, we got a hard stop.
Yes.
5:45.
Thank you.
Right. You made it. You did it.
Thank
Good-
you.
Good job, everyone.
So
Yeah.
do you have any minute notes? Can you send them to me, please? Like, did you notate what time the meeting started?
You did.
Yes.
5:04, 4:34.
I also have a recording, so I'll review of the recording in the minutes.
You're recording us?
I
Are
have
you saying recording
a-
the meeting?
a voice recording only for review
Did-
of the meetings?
Did the board agree to this? Because we have talked about this before as a board.
It's not.
And-
It's not the meeting itself. It's a voice recording on my end.
Yeah.
Of-
I was just-
Meeting.
No, not the meeting. It's me.
Just his voice only.
Just my voice.
Oh, I see. Okay. Did you say the meeting started at 5:04?
5:34, 4:34.
4:30.
Oh.
4:34. 16:43.
all
There you
right.
go.
I'll be in touch, Steve.
All right.
Thank
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Can we leave